because we now move on to a debate on UK policy on the International Commission on Missing Persons in the name of Mr. Brooks, Newmark.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm grateful for the opportunity to speak on the important issue of UK policy on the International Commission on Missing Persons, the ICMP. This debate is particularly timely as last week we commemorated the 18th anniversary of the Srebrenica massacre, where 8,000 Bosnian Muslims were killed in what was declared to be the worst crime on European soil since the Second World War. At the memorial service of this anniversary, 409 newly identified bodies were buried, giving families some closure on the grief they've been living with for almost 2 decades. Last year, I travelled to Bosnia on Project Maya with Baroness Varsi, and while in Sarajevo, I visited the International Commission on Missing Persons. I was struck by this unique and highly effective organisation, which has revolutionised the international community's approach to addressing the issue of missing persons. And in doing so, it has made a genuine contribution to justice and peace building in the Balkans and elsewhere in the world. Since this visit, I have wondered what the UK government could do to support its vital work going forward, and I am grateful for this opportunity to put these questions to the Minister directly today. By way of background, it may be helpful if I first offer members a brief introduction to this organisation. President Clinton founded ICMP in 1996 as an organisation to clarify the fate of missing persons following the Balkans War. Confronting the scale of the problem, ICMP developed state-of-the-art DNA identification technology and has helped resolve 70% of the missing persons cases from the 1990s conflicts, including 7,000 of the 8,100 missing from Srebrenica. These unparalleled results provide the means to end the desperate uncertainty that families have endured. It has also provided irrefutable evidence to the domestic and international courts that heard war crimes cases, including those of Karadzic and Mladic. For the first time in history, DNA evidence is being used to convict the architects of genocide. The distinctive expertise that ICMP brings to this field is reflected in the growing contribution it is making beyond the Balkans. This year, having just opened up offices in Libya, ICMP received funds from the UK, which was announced by the Prime Minister during his visit to Tripoli. The organisation has already started DNA testing, and within just 1 month, it identified over 100 victims of Gaddafi's forces. ICMP has also been working in Iraq for several years, and sadly, it is clear that in the future, Syria will also require similar assistance. Indeed, as the conflict in Syria continues to rage on, it should be noted that according to information received by ICMP, at least 28,000 people are thought to be missing. As we look forward into the future and hope for a peace settlement, I would like to ensure that the issue of missing persons is addressed in the context of any future peace agreement, just as it was in the Dayton Peace Accords that ended the conflicts in the former Yugoslavia. Furthermore, it is important that action is taken now to work with the thousands of families who are displaced from the conflict in Turkey, Jordan, Lebanon, and Iraq, and who have missing relatives, so that when the conflict ends, measures will have already been taken to address an issue that will figure prominently in rebuilding Syria and restoring peace to the region. In addition to its post-conflict work, ICMP has assisted Chile, Colombia, and South Africa with addressing missing person cases from human rights violations, and also in the aftermath of natural disasters in Thailand, the Philippines, and Hurricane Katrina in the United States. In total, ICMP has identified the remains of over 19,000 individuals in the past decade. Having now learned about the widespread and vital work of this organisation, vital work this organisation does, I now come to the crux of the matter. The future of this important organisation going forward is in jeopardy. And I believe the UK government can do more to support its future. But this is not a matter of funding, but a matter of diplomatic support. Allow me to explain. Having achieved what it was established to do in the Western Balkans, ICMP is gradually winding down its assistance in that region. Yet all of its programs worldwide rely, with varied effectiveness, on a legal status recognized in a few states in the Balkans and a headquarters in Sarajevo. This is not a sustainable basis for its future. ICMP is not incorporated under domestic law of any one country and is not an NGO. Its lack of formal international legal status hampers ICMP's ability to carry out its work, and as a result, it was forced to close its office in Colombia, and its efforts in Libya and Iraq are being put at unnecessary risk. A draft legal framework was negotiated by the US, the UK, the Netherlands, and Denmark in 2004, within which ICMP could operate, but the document was never concluded, leaving ICMP without a permanent, internationally recognized status. So what can the UK do? While I was initially keen for the UK to take the lead on supporting the ICMP to be based in the UK, I have been persuaded that the logical place for it to have a sustainable headquarters would be in The Hague, which is keen to provide the ICMP with a home. As the seat of many international justice institutions, including the International Criminal Court, The Hague would be an ideal permanent base for the ICMP. However, the Dutch condition is that ICMP's legal status is put on a more sustainable footing, allowing ICMP to operate in the Netherlands and in the often dangerous countries in which it works, with the immunities it needs to protect its database of genetic information, which contains information voluntarily provided by family members of the missing. The Dutch Foreign Minister is prepared to lead a process aimed at securing that status, but only if he has the reassurance that the other partner countries will support his efforts. This is where I feel the UK could be doing more. In order to assure ICMP's future, I believe it is vital that the UK give a clear signal of support for the Dutch initiative to secure the work of this vital organisation. I therefore urge the Minister to make the UK's support clear, thereby making a decisive contribution to securing ICMP's future for the benefit of all. The Foreign Secretary was able to visit ICMP in October last year, which was an excellent signal of support. And the FCO has been actively working with the Netherlands ever since to resolve questions over ICMP's future status. I am no advocate of tying the UK as a matter of principle into permanent financial commitments to international organisations. However, it is precisely because ICMP has not had the luxury of permanent funding and the fact that it has innovated and managed costs effectively at every stage in its history that has underscored another critical reason for me to support this organisation. By way of comparison, with a broad range of programs and having developed the world's largest human identification laboratory, ICMP's budget is a mere £5 million, a very cost-effective endeavour to alleviate suffering around the world, Mr. Chairman. ICMP does not seek any permanent funding commitments. Instead, a permanent legal status will enable it to build on an exceptional track record of success in raising voluntary contributions. It is clear that an effective response to the tragedy of missing persons caused by this conflict is, and will remain, a fundamental element of successful conflict prevention and post-conflict resolution. The UK has a direct interest in ensuring that present and future international peace-building strategies include missing persons as an integral element. In order to assure ICMP's future, it is now time for the UK to take a leadership role in encouraging other states to support the Dutch initiative to give the ICMP a more permanent status. I look forward to the Minister's response to both the idea of giving the ICMP a permanent legal status and what specifically the FCO can do to give ICMP the support it duly deserves. Finally, Mr. Chairman, I would like to thank a number of individuals for their insights. First and foremost, Adam Boyce and his team at the ICMP for the tremendous work that they do. Baroness Varsi for introducing me to Bosnia through Project Maya. My honourable friends, the members for Beckenham and Bournemouth East, for sharing their experiences in the Balkans. Lady Knott for taking me to meet the mothers of Srebrenica. My researcher, Lara Nelson, for helping me put together this speech, and indeed for all her work for me over the past 3 years. And finally, to everyone at the Foreign Office, especially Arminka Helic, for their input and encouragement in helping me better understand the work of the ICMP.
Simmons.